And
it did end up going on the front page of the newspaper.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so it's you know, I think I'm in a unique situation here because the principal and I have such an amazing relationship.
Yep.
Like he really respects what we do, and he really respects the kids' First Amendment rights. And so for us, we really work together to make the issues, to make the articles well written, and so they're not offended. Like that article that was on the front page, I never heard anything about it from anybody, and I think it's because it was done really well, and no one had anything to say about it because they couldn't really argue with it. So that's kind of my philosophy, is that I don't really care if you push the envelope on things, but you better do it well. You better have your facts right, and I'll stand by you. But Mr. Parent is unbelievable as far as my principal is. As far as really trying to get us to come up with solutions together, like he doesn't pull the "I'm the boss" card at all. Like it's like we work together really well, which I know in a lot of public schools they don't necessarily have that. So
that's
I'm
great.
so fortunate.
I guess this kind of goes into that. Maybe talk about, and this can go back to even when I was there with Mr. Elefante, maybe some articles that were censored or had to be pulled, if you can think of anything off the top of your head, or something that almost got pulled.
Say it again?
Maybe something that almost got pulled but went in last minute.
I can actually think of one when I was my first year here, where I wasn't running the whole paper. I was just doing Journalism 1.
Yeah.
And a girl had written an article about a religious group in the school, like something, I think they just met at the school, but it wasn't like affiliated with the school. And she had written about it, and she told about what it was and when the meetings were. And the principal at the time said it was promoting a certain religion, and they pulled it. And it was like, imagine pulling it when it's actually already been sent to the printers.
Yeah.
So basically, what came out was a big white blank.
Oh wow.
Where the story should have been.
Yeah.
And like, so for me, I don't know. I mean, I had the girl. I didn't see any problem with it at all. It didn't even occur to me. But I also was more naive back then. Like, I think I didn't really see it. I was fairly new. I don't know if now I would be more aware of it. I still don't see what the problem was as far as the religious thing. I mean, we do different groups all the time, but that was kind of a big issue. And I don't know. Now I would want to give the I try to give them enough time if there's a major problem. Like I kind of give them, a heads up on certain issues of, hey, I think this might cause a stir. So he doesn't even read the whole paper. I just give him the editorial section and then other articles that might cause controversy.
Mr. Elefante used to read the whole thing.
Yeah, well, I don't know if he actually read it, but
he wanted the whole thing.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah, so it's and that's how I fostered this trust with Mr. Parent, that he knows, and the kids know. They don't try to push it. They know what's good reporting. They feel really good about having good reporting and not just doing things for shock value. So. And
that's something you taught was to push the envelope and get the hard facts, but don't fabricate. And as long as you're doing that, then you're doing your job.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to tiptoe around issues. Like, teenagers are having sex, they're doing drugs, they're drinking. Like, I'm not stupid. These are issues that they care about.
Yeah.
However, if we're going to write about that stuff, then it can't just be gossip and, I got this on, whatever random website. Like, I want it to be legitimate. So I want people to take us seriously and not think we're just a rag,
Yeah.
So.
I mean, even I'm just going to tell you something.
Wait, hold on, it's a little louder.
Yeah?
I can't hear you, so a little bit
okay.
louder.
Even at Franklin Pierce, we went through a little thing with censorship where I wrote a story on retention, and our overall retention enrollment's really down, and it's really bad, and the school's kind of just in a little bit of a turmoil right now, and that came out during open house for prospective students.
Okay.
And we're passing the paper out, and this was on front page, and we had to pull it. We had to not pass papers out because they were afraid it would scare away students from coming here.
Wow.
That's something that, we still have to deal with even in college.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and I talked to everyone. I talked to the president and dean about it, and they said no facts were wrong, no one was misquoted. They just didn't want to look bad.
Huh.
Yeah. So
Interesting.
I feel like you guys have a little bit more leeway than me.
That's funny.
Yeah. I have one more question.
Yeah.
How do you guys go about covering hard news when you're a monthly issue and it's kind of hard to get that up to date, up to, new story out that no one's really heard about when you have such long layover between issues?
Well, and that's something that we've done is the hard news. We definitely try to come up with more of a local angle.
Mm-hmm.
Like if someone just asked me, "Oh, we're going to cover the Polish president being killed," and I'm like, "Well, I mean, by the time we come out next week, it's kind of old news, and I don't know what local angle we could come up with. So I don't know if we should even do a story now on the day we go to print, like on Wednesday or Thursday, if something big happens then,
mm-hmm.
a lot of times we'll try to squeeze it in the last minute so that it's a little bit more timely.
Mm-hmm.
But we definitely have to have more news features because you're not going to tell people what they, most people already know about that. So, I mean, someone said, oh, we could interview Mrs. Koch, who's a Polish teacher. Like, that would kind of localize it a little bit, but there's definitely got to be a way to, I mean, this is not breaking news, a newspaper for breaking news. It's more interpretive or futuristic or whatever,
mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's tough. I mean, it's not easy at all. It's definitely tough to do that hard news.
But overall, you said basically the administration works with you hand in hand and gives the students their first right amendment.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. And that's something...
Yep, I feel very, very, very fortunate.
Great.
Definitely.
Definitely. That's all I have.